Right. Welcome back, YouTube. It is your boy, Mr. Power. This is our second recording. We have James Adam
Huh.
Lim and Elaine Uwe in the building. Guys, how's it going? How's it going?
What's up? What's up? Going well.
Good, man. Got a question for James. You're in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Is that why you're wearing the whole
Yeah, it's cold, man.
beanie and cold? Okay, I got
It's
you.
like
I
minus
hope
something, whatever it is.
I hope you're staying safe
Minus?
and warm, man.
Yeah. Well, it was earlier. I think it's like 20 degrees now. But
Wow.
yesterday it was like minus 15.
Yikes. Yikes. Well,
Wow.
hope you're
Yeah.
staying warm, man.
Thank you. I'm in like
Yeah, hope
North
you're
Dallas, so it's like it's colder up here, so we got a lot more ice and sleet. I think we got like three inches
Jeez.
overnight.
hope
Wow.
you're staying warm and
Cool
cuddled
though.
up.
Fun. I like it. I like the weather. It reminds me of Chicago.
And there you go.
Absolutely. So earlier we were talking about the series finale. Elaine, we're talking about your character. We didn't get your thoughts on kind of how you feel about the whole process, how your character ended, next steps maybe.
I wasn't surprised. I mean, Gary Lennon told me about the character arc even before the we started season 3, that he had like right when we finished season 2, he's like, yo dude, like there's a lot that we could do with your character and I have a lot of ideas. I think I know where to go with it. But we weren't sure if we were going to get picked up for a third season, so I was like, I'm curious to see where you're going to go with this. But then when they did get picked up and they had to renegotiate the offers and everything else, get the before before long, Gary, literally before even the ink dried, Gary hit me up and was like, "Yo, let me talk to you about your character." And he presented to me with the what was on the board. And what he
Mm,
told me is like, "Okay, so here's the deal. Your character broke bad, and all these sort of loose details of what was going to unravel in front of us." And I was like, "Holy shit, that's amazing!" And then he says, "At the end of the show, you get a kill." I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you who you kill, but you get a kill. I was
wow.
like, oh damn, that's crazy. And to be honest with you, I didn't know how it was going to unravel until we started shooting. I think we got the scripts for the finale right before we started shooting episode 9. And it was funny because Chris Tardio, the guy who plays DeFranco,
Hmm.
he became like one of my best friends on the show. Like we hung out heavy. Me, him, and Joseph Sikora, we hung out a lot. And then I told him, I'm like, Gary told me I get a kill, man. I'm curious to see who that is. And so he read the script first, immediately called me and was like, "You fucking piece of shit, bro." I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Read the script." And I read the script. I was like, "Oh shit. This is
Wow.
crazy, man." And so we had a blast talking about it. But in all honesty, like we were just talking about it, before this pod, was that I think all in all, I think I could see how a lot of people expected more from this particular finale.
Hmm.
Um, but I could also see it being like just a setup for a continuation of what's to come. And I think a lot of people out there don't really understand the business of television, and I'm sure we'll get into it later. But
Hmm.
you got to remember, like they were planning for a fourth season,
Hmm.
and we didn't get the news about not getting a fourth season until maybe the third or fourth episode, around that time. So you got to reconstruct everything from what you've put on the board. So you got to figure out how to maneuver from there. So I not to make excuses because I'm not a writer. I don't understand the process. But I could also see that some of the limitations they might have had in terms of trying to figure out where to go, knowing that they're not going to get a fourth season with this particular group. So all in all, I enjoyed it, man. And you know, I I saw where they were. I could understand how people are upset that Jannard didn't get blasted. I get that. Um, and I could understand a
Yeah.
lot of the other things too, but like the story isn't finished, man. It's not finished. So we'll see.
Hmm.
The story isn't finished. That's funny because we're just talking about James's character and how James, you felt like your character there wasn't enough closure do you feel like part of them ending the show early plays a factor in that? Like them leaving certain characters open and not closing certain storylines?
I mean, I'm hopeful, right? because, because to be honest, I mean, I love the show and I love like the cast and crew and stuff, and so like I would love to be back, and I'm hoping to be back. I mean, that would be awesome. But I also know that, 50 had put out that, like, I think it was like last year that he was gonna do a Power series based on like Chinatown and stuff like that with like Mike Moy, I think, and his like autobiography and stuff. So I could see. I mean, who knows? Maybe Chan don't really work for the cartel. I mean, maybe he, works for the Triads or something like that. Who knows?
Mm,
And
okay.
that I could see a link with that. I mean, but that's just my own wishful thinking. We'll see, we'll see.
For sure. I'm curious about you two. You guys got on the call and you guys haven't spoken or seen each other since you guys filmed. Talk about that because I
2024.
feel like fans don't really understand that you shoot a project and you leave and you may not see people for who knows however long.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
physically, I haven't seen Elaine in like, yeah,
Yeah.
2 years. But I mean, we'll like,
Yeah.
chat here and there, like on, IG and stuff. But yeah, it's like right, Elaine. Like it's like you like start when you start a show, you have like these like relationships, and it's like it advances really quick until like you guys are like family almost. And then like once the show's done, it's like it's sad, but it's also like people go off and do their own thing, and it's just
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's sad.
that's the tragedy of working on in this industry is that
Yeah.
you do get very, very close.
And
It's
you've
like,
been on the show for like 2 seasons, so I'm sure it was worse for you.
yeah, yeah, and and it's as I said earlier, like we were all hoping for that fourth season because
Mm.
I mean it was a blast working with everybody. I'm talking from top to bottom, soup to nuts, everybody involved. Like, and you know this, James, like everyone's super cool there, and
It's the
everyone
first show
really.
that I've been on that it was like that though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
Wow.
very it could be very rare to have
Yeah.
a collection of individuals that kind of
Mhm.
collectively form a Voltron that works.
Mhm.
Like it's amazing. And so yeah, it's so like it is, sad, but it's part of the reality of in this being in this business is that I haven't seen James in late, yeah, 2 years, like 2024, last time I saw him. Like was it late spring? But we still
Yeah.
keep in contact. Like Tardio's become a really good friend of mine and I we check up on each other. Like I just saw him. I was in New York last year, and we had dinner together. Like he was here in LA not too long ago. We still hang out. Like I still hang out with Shane Harper who plays Vic. Like so it's great, but it's not like what it was when you're like forced it. Pardon the pun. Forced in Chicago and you're sequestered in this city, and if you're not from there, you're kind of bound to just hang out with the people that you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys said it's rare to have a experience like that with a group like that. Why is it rare? What's the average like energy around a set from you guys' experience?
I mean, well, I'll just go real quick. I mean, it's just so it's such a business, right? So people sometimes aren't very welcoming, and you don't feel like it's just like it's a transaction. You go in, you do your job, and you're out, and that's pretty much it. But like this particular show was very like the showrunner comes and like before you even shoot and just like or he sends you an email. It's like that never happens. Like no producer or showrunner ever sent me an email, and or like welcoming me and then being on the first day, Gary coming over and us chit chatting for like 5-10 minutes just about life, and then that was even another thing for me. It was just like wow, this is really cool, and then yeah, just crew, cast, everybody just being exceptionally friendly. It was a weird at first because I was like, wait, what's going on here? But it was also just like, it was just such a blessing. And then Elaine as well. I mean, that was cool. So,
That's it. That's all you got to say about me is that it was
I mean,
cool.
we were Playhouse
Ooh,
West and, we were doing
man, this guy.
no.
We broke bread. We hung out. We
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about
yeah. We
sports.
did, we
We
did
we
break bread. Yeah, he was
ate some
actually, because I didn't know
sushi.
anybody in Chicago. And he'd already been there. So he was like, hey, man, you
Yeah,
want to get some dinner or something like that? I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we had sushi and
yeah,
it was cool. Yeah.
yeah. I think it all starts from the
Sushi?
top, man. Oh yeah.
Dude, Chicago has good food, man.
I
I
just can't do
Amazing.
raw fish, man. I can't do it. I
Hey, it's
can't
okay.
do it.
It's okay. Hey, listen,
I
it's a
can't.
refined taste. At some point, you'll grow up to enjoy the refined tastes of
Mm.
sushi. At
Once you
some
hit
point.
35.
I don't get what when older adults say that, like, "Oh, it's a refined taste," as if like time was going to change
Right.
change
Okay,
that.
okay, listen, let me check this out. I have a son, as you may know. Um, and right now, even before, he was just eating burgers and shit. Like that's it. And then eventually
Yeah.
he's like tries it, like, okay, I like it. I remember back in the day where I'd be like, why would I eat sweet potato? What the hell is that? Well,
Mm.
that looks weird. And then you eat it, you're like, okay. And then you get older and you start tasting things like eh.
Yeah.
But going back to this whole thing is I was gonna say that it really starts from the top. Uh top down, like who's the number one in the show and who's the showrunner. And when you're part of a project such as this, where you've got someone like Gary or someone like Joseph who sets the tone for the entire crew, it you can't help but fall in line. And when you get a text, literally, this is what happened to me. I've the minute I landed in Chicago, and forgive me if I've repeated this to you, or if this is I've retelling a story, but the first person that texted me at the beginning of season two, episode one, literally as soon as I landed, not the guy who's picking me up, not the, it's literally a number that says, "Hey, this is Joseph Sikora. This is my direct line. If you ever need anything, I'm your guy." Like, that's for the number one of the show to welcome you like that. It just sets the tone. So it's like when you've got somebody who's open in that way and is welcoming, you just fall in line. It's a beautiful
Mm.
thing. And it is rare. It is rare.
Why? Why is that rare to talk to your castmates or reach out to your castmates?
Look, man, I don't know what James's experience has been, but there I've been in some projects. Not often, but there are projects that I've been on where I'm like, wow, this set feels cold. Like
Mm.
it just feels cold.
Bad
Like
juju.
everyone is kind of like uptight.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or
There's
they're literally in your ear talking shit about the show to you.
or
What you
I
mean?
mean,
I've had that. Like hair and makeup, they know everything, you know? They are like, if you want to know anything, you talk to hair and makeup because they know all the chit chat and stuff like that, the drama and stuff. And like a lot of times, if you're sitting in that makeup chair getting your hair done, your makeup done, a lot of times on other shows I've been on, they'll just like be like, yeah, F this, blah, blah, blah. We're not, they're not taking care of us. And like, you're not supposed to do that, especially with talent. But
there's certainly, I mean, there's certainly an energy.
Yeah,
It's like anywhere else you go. Like you could kind of
like a
sense it.
barbershop.
Yeah, you could sense it. You could sense the energy in the room. And if you're sensitive enough to pick it up, you go, "Ooh, okay, I need to act right here. I got to make sure I don't step on anybody's toes or say anything that could ruffle some feathers." But for the most part, at least for me, for the most part, I've been fortunate enough to have worked on a lot of different projects that have been really fun. Have been really good. But uh, this particular project, like everybody was cool. Everybody, like from day one, I was busting balls with Tardio and Miriam and everybody. I was like, okay, these guys, they get it. This is fun. So it's gonna be fun. So
You guys feel like that affects your work, your performance, how they treat you, or are you guys just assassins? Like you're gonna do the work the same way regardless? Because I don't know, it's just me. I don't think I put in as much effort if I feel like there's that weird energy on set, like, oh, you know what I mean? This person feels better because they're number one and number two. Do you guys feel like that? How does that work?
hmm.
I mean, okay, for me, it was just like you just feel like you have the luxury to just be more free when everybody's just cool and welcoming and stuff. So like you take you take bold you take bold choices and all that kind of stuff. And like yeah, like that's what my experience was on Power. It was just like just try this, try that. It was, like Gary was like that, Lisa was like that. And you just feel more at ease, and so you just give a better performance. But yeah, other times the opposite happens, and you obviously have to perform because you're professional, but
Yeah.
it might be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely freeing, when you're in a space where you can feel like it's okay to fail or
Hmm.
try some things out, it lends itself to a more safe environment. You know, acting is it's a full contact sport, but in the sense that you have to be vulnerable. And like anything else, if you don't feel safe to be vulnerable, you start to become a little bit more guarded
Mm.
with how you sort of approach things, which is just natural. You know, at some point you become aware enough and be like, you don't need a lot of, at least for me, I start to go, I don't need a lot from the outside to sort of influence what I need to do. But it's just an added bonus when things are a little bit more, lax is the wrong word, but it's you've got the freedom to play. That's the most important thing.
Yep. So let's talk about the business. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Say I audition, I get the role, they make an offer. What's the process? Are you just like, I'm gonna just take this offer because I want this job? Are you negotiating? How much are you included in negotiations? Is it the manager? Is it your agent? Like, how does all that work? How do you know what you're worth?
Maybe we should start with me because Elaine has, more experience. So my
Don't share.
situation is
Don't
like
sell yourself short,
I'm just
James.
saying. I'm
Don't
just
sell
Stop
saying
being
my
yourself
humble,
short,
James.
James.
situation
Stop
was
being
You're
humble,
not being humble,
James.
bro.
no, my situation was that like this was like my first like decently big role, so it was like recurring guest star. So like because I didn't have really like experience above that, it's like you got to be very careful with the negotiations because you don't want to ask for too much, and then they might just be like, well, I'll just go with this cheaper guy, and they can
Yeah,
potentially do the same or better or whatever. And then so there wasn't too much negotiation with my agents with this particular production. So you kind of just have to take one for the team on this one, the first one, and then once I guess your star rises a little bit, then you can negotiate more freely.
absolutely. Elaine.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm assuming. I don't know.
No, I mean that's pretty. I mean that's the common experience is exactly that. Is that at some point you'll have more leverage as you work through the industry. Specifically if you've got a lot of credits under your belt, and then you go, okay, like James is a known quantity. We know what he can deliver. We want him, and then once you have that sort of um, cachet, you're able to negotiate at a different vantage point. But in the example you gave, you get an offer. Um, yes, you can get involved. It really depends on your relationship with your reps. I mean, it depends on what you've created with them. I'm just speaking from my experience. I remember my first ever test, network test. This was years ago, and I was involved in the finances of it, like understanding how it works. And then when they landed on a specific offer, you're not, I mean, I wasn't aware of the final offer until I actually went to the test. And in a network test, you have to sign this contract before they actually test you. And for the people who aren't aware what testing means, is that you literally are the choice from the producers, the showrunners, the casting. You're the number one choice, and you're now being presented to the network, the streaming company, or the production company to get a final approval for who they want to cast.
Nerve
And,
wracking.
and in order for you to continue, you have to sign the contract. And I remember my first test distinctly because typically they partner you up with, like, there's you, the choice, and then there's a straw man, which is like casting directors do this a lot where they really want you, so they'll test you with somebody who may not be right for the part, just to kind of like prop you up a little bit. They do this. I wouldn't say they do this often, but they tend to do this. Well, in this particular test, there was no straw man. It was just me. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But when I signed a contract, I saw the number and I was like, holy shit, that's a big number. And it messed me up. It messed
Mm.
me up. And so afterwards, I didn't get the part. And I told my
Dang.
reps and managers, I said,
What?
listen, I never want to see the money. I am entrusting you guys with the responsibility, the fiduciary responsibility to not only look out for me, but to look out for your best interest. And I said to them, like, I never want to see the money ever. From here on out, don't tell me how much I'm going to make. I just trust that it's going to be good because I'm not about that. I just want to make sure I do good work. That's it. Because to me, my mentality has always been work in silence, let the work speak for itself. Because all that other shit's going to come. So when I switched my mentality with that, when I signed the paperwork for any type of deal, I my reps know better to tell them to put a post-it over the finances so I don't see it.
That's smart.
That way I can never really mess and that because man,
Yeah.
it's like you sometimes you deal with big money and you're like, whoa, what is that? Like
Mhm.
that's more money than I ever thought I could make in this crazy world that we live in. And so, yeah, ever since then, and then I'll know after the fact, like, oh, okay, cool. That's great. Now that it's over, we can move forward.
So let me get this straight. So you go into to screen test, they make
Hmm.
you sign this contract where you see how much money you would potentially be making, not guaranteed, potentially.
Hmm.
And then you do the screen test and you still don't get the role.
Hmm.
You think that's why it fucked you up? You think if you got the role, you would have still had that mindset of I don't want to see how much money it is?
I learned that it took me out mentally. It's like we were talking about basketball earlier. It's like imagine you're about to shoot a free throw, game winner, and the other team freezes you out, timeout. And then you're sitting there for like what 30 seconds
Yeah.
thinking about your shot when you should have been ready. You're in the groove, you're ready to go. You everyone has a process, right? James can attest to this. When you go to an audition, especially in person, there is a process. At least for
Mm.
me, there's a process to get grounded. When something like that's not even half it has nothing to do with your performance and it's about the business, it gets in there, at least for me. This is just my own perspective. I want to eliminate all the noise. The signal to noise ratio has to be specific to just the signal, which is the performance. That's the most important thing. And so, whether or not had I booked that, would I have thought differently? Who's to say? I don't know because that's not the reality. But the reality is, it took me out. And I'm like, okay, I can't I can't have that again. I don't want any of that. I trust you guys. And I've been with my reps for about 10 years and I've got a great relationship with them. So I trust them. I trust my attorney. I trust everybody that's around me that they're all going to look out for my best benefit. So again, that's why I preface this by saying it just depends on your relationship with your reps. Do you trust them? Do you trust them to make a great deal for you and a fair deal for everybody? So
How the hell do you get to the point of like trusting someone enough to say, I don't want to know how much money it is? I'd be so paranoid. Like, I don't care how good of a rep you are, that element of unknown
mhm.
is like, how you feel
I,
about that, James? Do you want to know?
Man, I think I'm
Because
kind
that
of
number
with
would
you.
motivate me. I'm
Well,
not
well,
gonna
like
lie.
reps.
Yeah.
Like the reason why I trust my reps is because they have skin in the game too.
mhm.
Whatever I make, they're gonna make a certain percentage, so they're gonna try to get the best deal possible, right?
Yeah.
And so, no, but I'm with Elaine, man. That would mess me up if I was like had to sign and I saw the number, and then it's just like the possibility. Your mind just goes.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
fantasizing about like, oh my gosh, with that money I can do this and that and that. When you really, yeah, like you said, you need to be grounded and focus on the actual work. You know.
Yeah.
So I would
Do
want to
you?
know.
Yeah, I don't have the intestinal fortitude to be like, okay, cool, and move on.
Yeah, I mean, some people can
Mm.
for sure,
Some
and
people
or that
can. I think,
motivates them.
yeah, I think most people can. I am just maybe an exception where I'm like, I can't. I don't
Hmm.
want to look at that. I don't. I really don't. I look at the options stuff. Like there's options there. Like I remember I did a project for Marvel and man, that was amazing just to see the options. Like, okay, so this character can go into the universe and all this other stuff. I'm like, yo, that's dope. I could get with that. Like, that's exciting to me because then
Mm.
it does add a little bit more, you know, momentum or energy or whatever that is. I'm like, okay, I'm really jazzed. I'm ready to go. But for whatever reason, finances was always like, oh, I don't even want to look at that.
Wow. This is new. This is new info for me. I've never heard this before. Like,
Again, it's just me. I don't know. I don't know anybody. Hey, I don't like to pocket
yeah,
watch, so it's always like you got to do what you
I
got to
feel you.
do,
I
and
feel you.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like everybody has their own process. That's just my process.
I will say I disagree with you saying that like most people. I don't think most people could handle seeing a big number and then just going and performing anyway. They would definitely fantasize on, oh, I could do this or I could do that. Like, I'd
Yeah.
be tweaking out. I don't know. I'd be tweaking. Yeah.
Well, it's like this, right? It's like before we had Wi-Fi on airplanes, we were fine. But then
Mm.
the minute they decided you could have Wi-Fi, you're like, oh, this is great. But we got used to it. So when someone says, "Hey,
Mm.
we don't have Wi-Fi on this," you're like, "What the fuck?" And it's like that's the most. That's basically it. It's like you don't
Yeah.
really need it, but once you feel like you're entitled to it, you get it. It just kind of messes you up when you're like, "Wait, I could have, I could have had that." Like with that. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it.
So, because you trust your reps so much, right? Is there any point to where you're like, I don't like this deal, I don't like this offer? Or is it always just, oh, whatever they think is fair, then just go with that? There's no input on like, or do you have set things that you want going into a project that you know because you can leverage, like say in Marvel, you got different options with them than you may have with another organization?
And James, you go first.
I don't even know what to say. To be honest. Honestly, you cut out. Honestly, you cut out for me. So I was like, what is he
I cut
saying?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that like, do you guys have any set things that you go into wanting? Like you tell the agents or the reps, like this is in the ballpark of what I'm looking. Not even about money, but like
Oh,
what you want to come from it.
man. I think for me it's just like I try to be objective with where I'm at in my career.
Hmm.
So I try to be like, look, I'm not some like name actor where it's like I demand this and I gotta have all this stuff because I just don't have that kind of clout or anything. So it's like, where am I in my career? And then maybe I think I'm worth this much. What do you guys think? That's why we're a team, right? You got to talk to your reps and stuff like that, and then you talk about it and see, is this reasonable? You think? And then they're like, yeah, I think we can work something out like that. And so then they go bad for you. So that's why you gotta talk. You gotta communicate with your team on a constant basis. See where you're at, every quarter or half a year or whatever, and see where you're at in your career. So I think that's the best way.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I will say that um, aside from the finances, the thing that's I've communicated explicitly to my reps is that what's most important for me is am I going to be happy on this project? And what I mean by happy is are is there are are they presenting challenges for me as an actor creatively?
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, I've taken jobs before where, I'm literally just continuity on a show where I'm there, I show up for one day, I get my full rate, and I'm like, this is great, but I'm literally continuity. I'm sitting in the back. I'm a I have like a few lines here and there, but I'm like, this is great. My bank account looks great, but I am not happy. And I'm looking around going like I'm tied up in this project and I'm missing out on even that short film or that feature over there or like something that's interesting to me. Again, I've never really operated based on money. And it's to me, it's about am I going to be satisfied in where this character is going? I mean, why are we doing this? It's never been about money. I'd be happy just doing theater. And but obviously finances are part of it and you want to make a living, but you get to a point where you're like, I just, it needs to meet everything, every criteria there, like anything else. It's a union job. So there is a baseline, there's a floor in which you're going to get paid. So
Mm.
there's
Yep.
always that. So it's never going to be like, oh, you're doing this for free. It's rather, you know what the baseline is. They're going to try to negotiate that up. That's their job. That's why they get paid. But my directive for my team is pitch me for projects that you think aligns with what I need to satiate me creatively. And so like Power was one of them. Power was one of There was another project that followed Power, which was Ballard and then the cleaning lady. There were other projects that was being considered for. My first question was like, okay, I like these two projects, but what about that project? Is it meaningful enough? Well, they'll
Mm.
pay you more, but I'm like, yeah, but what is it? Like, I'm not saying I'm a star either. It's just that when you get to the situations where you're like, you have to choose, like there's many projects where I was like, I really want this. I don't care if it's just a 1 day guest star or what, but I get to do a scene. And it's written by somebody or produced by somebody. I just want to be in that world. That's all I care about. But then you got an offer for this other thing that's like reoccurring and it's like, 8 episodes guaranteed, but your continuity. I'm like, I would rather do this and get paid nothing because I know that it's going to do something for my career. It's going to help me be in front of people that I want to work with. Um, and it's just more of a challenge. So I don't know. It's everything, right? And then you're going to be in the situations where you're like, damn, I haven't worked in a year and a half. I'm just going to take whatever I can, just to have a credit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's everything. It's all of those things. It's never just one solid rule. So,
You feel like you got to be in a certain financial position to operate like that? Because people will say that, but like at the end of the day, if you got to eat, so like you
mhm.
may be in a position where you want to chase projects that make you happy, but like you got to eat. So how much does your current financial situation factor into what type of roles you take or do not take? James?
Okay. Me, I'm like, wait, I don't have any lines. You want me to do nudity, and you're gonna pay me this amount? I'll do it. That's what I want
Okay.
financially. I'll do anything. No, I'm kidding. No. Yeah, I mean, if you're good with money and stuff, which I'm not, I definitely could have been in a better situation right now. I think, if I was more financially literate, especially with the work that I've done in the past, probably like 4 years. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I want to get to a point where it's just like, I can pick and choose, and have that privilege, but that's just not the case right now, especially like with how much retraction is going on in the industry and like how much less roles there are. So if you're lucky to even get an audition, I mean, right now for me, I'm just like, thank God, like, I even have this opportunity. And if that comes to where I get an offer, then yeah, absolutely, I'll take it for sure. But you also don't just want to have respect for yourself and not be like, I'll just do anything. I mean, you do have to have a little bit of yeah, yeah. You gotta make some decisions that are for your benefit. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you guys talked about the credits mattering a lot when it comes to like you negotiating worth. Is that all? Because I feel like there may be a lot of people that may have a ton of credits, but may still not be compensated the way
Mm.
that you would expect, right? So what else factors into your worth? Is it the role? Like if you're a lead, if you're recurring, doesn't matter.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because there's like a ton of people who have like so many guest star credits and stuff like that, but they just stay there. They don't
Yeah,
ever become like series regulars and stuff. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's about like maybe it just has so much to do with casting, right? And your different looks and stuff. And
mm,
everybody's good when you're like a guest star, series regular, and you're auditioning for that. Like it's a matter of, I guess, how just there's that X factor, right? There's a lot of people who want to talk about that X factor, but some people just do. They have that thing
yeah,
where your eyes just go towards them. It's just like
Mhm.
you want to watch them. And some people have it, some people don't, and that's okay though. You can still make a living doing acting in other ways, maybe commercials and continue to just be a guest star level actor and be happy with that. And a lot of people do, you know.
Yeah, I think having when you're starting off, it's like you just gotta get credits. I mean, that's the name of the game. It's like you gotta get your reps in. You gotta be seen by these casting directors. Can they
Mm.
trust you with this role? I mean,
Mhm.
I mentor a lot of younger actors, and I always tell them like, yo, when you're auditioning for something, you're not just auditioning for this role. You're auditioning for every future project that this casting director slash producer or whoever it is that they're going to see your tape. You're auditioning for whatever future roles that are coming from them, coming through them. So just be good. Like you may not be right for the part, but if it's like what James said, if you're undeniable, they're gonna call you back. They're gonna go, "Hey, remember James? Like, he might be able to play this role. Let's call him in." Because you constantly do great work on these either self tapes or in person.
Mhm.
And so I experienced that directly, where I got called in a bunch of times for a specific casting office, and they never booked me. And I'm like, man, they hate me. Never got a call back, nothing. And I'm like, what is the point? Like, they hate me over there. But then you book something through them, and then you have a conversation with them, and they go, we always loved you. That's why we keep bringing you in. We just couldn't find a role for you.
Mm.
But eventually you sort of stack the chips in that way, and they start to trust you more, and you get to know these casting offices, which really are the gatekeepers for a lot of these projects. And then
Yeah.
you go, okay, can you give me more responsibility? Like, can you entrust me with a recurring? Can you trust me with a lead? Can you entrust me with all of these things? And they will give you that opportunity at some point. They'll go, okay, let's see what you got. You're no longer in a G League. Let me call you up to see if you could actually. And they'll literally,
It
I
really
mean,
is. Sports analogies are like perfect for acting,
yeah,
to be
it's
honest.
like a
Yeah.
10-day contract. They put you in. Maybe it's garbage time, but you show them
Yeah.
something. The coach goes, hey, I like this guy. Let me
Just
see
showing
what.
up is like half the battle, to be honest.
That is it.
It's a
It's
long game.
as I said earlier, do the work, let the work speak for itself. You got to be good. You got to be ready. And it's
Mm.
like it's working, like I said, work in silence. When you get in there, do the job. That's it. It's like what Denzel says. It's like you go up, hit your marks, don't hit the furniture, say your lines, and get the fuck out. That's it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
job. That's literally the job.
Yeah.
And if you're
I,
not
I like
doing it
I like
right,
that sports analogy stuff. Let's use that
okay.
because that segues me into a question I have. So, as an actor, you're on a lot of different teams, right? You're jumping around, you're jumping around. Have you guys ever been on teams where you feel like the players don't know how to play? Have you ever been on set where you're like, these people aren't good actors? Like
Ooh.
Mm.
this is they're not professional, or maybe you don't feel like they cast the right people, or maybe they're just bullshitting and they're not taking it serious. Because I'm curious, because as a creator, I see a lot of creators where I'm like, he's not a good creator. He's not serious. Like he's not
Hmm.
locked into his craft. Have you guys experienced that? Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I have been blessed. I have not. I
Okay.
swear I have not.
That's good.
Everybody's been good.
I think when you get to a specific level of producing and creating it, all that stuff, it's all weeded out by then. It's like
Mm,
everyone that shows up, they're professional, they got shit to
Hmm.
do, they get the job done. It is what it is. And as we talked about earlier, but there's also a seasoning to the set. Like sometimes it is cold, and you're like, okay, I just can't mess around here, or like there's that sort of energy that isn't welcoming in that way. But for the most part, I've never, in the professional world that we live in terms of TV and film, I have never experienced or hardly ever experienced a situation where I'm like, man, these teammates don't know how to pick and roll. I mean, it's a simple play. What are we doing?
mm. He's a pick and roll.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what are we doing?
Like,
It's
how the
just a
hell did
move
you
in,
get
move
this
out.
job? You know,
We're like, what are you doing,
you
man?
definitely
Like,
didn't have to audition.
yeah, what's going on here? I've never had that, honestly. And maybe I have been part of sets where that was there. I just was shielded from it. So I don't know.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
and I think perhaps, and this is just me extrapolating here, is that perhaps if I'm fortunate enough to be a name, I think that comes with higher, um, how do I say this? Like more stake in the game. Like
Mhm.
you're now Luca or you're now LeBron, and you're now having to deal with the franchise, the organization. And so that breeds even more tension
Mm.
and responsibility, which kind of creates more tension and conflict. I've only sniffed a little bit of that in terms of like being in that world. And I've only seen other actors who are A-listers. I'm like, oh wow, you're really going through some shit. Like that's like I don't know if that's a lot. That's a lot you're dealing with.
So you're
But
saying
yeah,
that the big dogs have to deal with more of the bullshit,
oh
essentially.
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. I mean, think about it this way, right? Again, sports analogy. If you're, let's say you're on the bench, right? Let's say you're the sixth man, but you lose the series. Who's to blame? It's the star
Yeah.
and the coach. It's like what Shaq says. Shaq said to Kobe is like, yo, if you guys could fuck around, but if I get swept in the series, it's on me. It's not on you,
Mhm.
it's on me. And so you got to bear the responsibility of that. And when you've got that kind of responsibility, I can't help but think that's a lot of stress, man. That's why they get paid a lot. That's
Yeah.
why they're the franchise player. That's why they get the multi-million dollar deal because it's their responsibility. I mean, really think about that.
Mhm.
That's a good point. I didn't think it
Yeah.
worked like that. I thought maybe with the stars, like they'll come in and they'll make the big money, but maybe they don't got to deal with the all the extra. But it seems
I mean, a lot of times,
like it comes with the
shows don't even get greenlit unless certain people are attached to it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of responsibility, you know?
mm,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you really you tease that out some more, it's like, okay, so a producer comes in and says, I've got this project. James is perfect for it. Someone goes, no, not James. Elaine is great for it. And then they go back and forth. And then they finally land on James. And then there's still that history. You don't really see that, but there's a lot that goes on in that. And yeah, it's the responsibility is there for all those guys to deal with. And it all falls on them. And I think that's what's I remember someone saying that it's always a wonder and a miracle that anything ever gets made in this industry because there's so many moving parts. There's
A lot of
so many
egos
moving
too.
parts.
Different personalities, all that kind of stuff, and yeah,
Hmm.
hundreds of people involved on production. So
yeah, that's interesting how James just said that some projects won't get greenlit if they don't have a name attached to it.
a lot. I mean, I don't even want to say most. I mean, a lot though. Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean, think
more
about it,
about
right?
the name than it is the talent.
Well, you
Because
would
I feel
think
like
that
there's a
it's like
difference.
they became a name because they got the talent, right? I mean, you would think, but a
I
lot
don't
of
think
times
that's
there's
always the
nepotism
case.
involved and all that. And there's nepotism involved,
Yeah.
like okay, never mind. I don't even want to talk about the Lakers. But
I feel like nepotism isn't really something that's talked about a lot in acting. At least I haven't really heard about it.
really, yeah, I've heard so
Yeah.
much.
There's a lot you guys
There's a
have
benefit
noticed
for
that?
sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, other famous actors' kids get into the industry, and
Mm,
it's undeniable that they have a leg up. You know, they definitely
sure.
like do a lot of line skipping for sure. I mean, but we as like people who don't have any connections getting into the industry can't be really mad about that. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that sucks, but it's like that's just how the chips fell. So you got to
Yeah,
either you know train and just show up and do really well and try to work your way up and hope for the best. And yeah, so
in some ways, it's sort of a badge of honor that you came up through the ranks because
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I mean you're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
You earned that spot, and you can
Hmm.
wear that proudly. I think there's a lot of things that happens in this industry where there is a lot of sort of this imposter syndrome that goes out, and that's prevalent. That's normal to think like, man, do I belong here? But if you sit down and really think about all the work that you put in to get to where you're at, you've proven it to yourself time and time again that you belong. And
Hmm.
even
Yep.
though that little doubt in your head that goes, man, I don't, I mean, that person, this person, like, man, they're great. Like, what am I doing here? And then you realize quickly that you're like, oh, they work their asses off too, and they belong here as well. And yes, there is definitely nepotism everywhere. not just in this industry, but everywhere. If you were born into a situation that is out of your control, but you are in a situation that you could benefit from certain things, it's on you to you know to take advantage of that. I never really looked
Absolutely.
down on people who's got that opportunity,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, if you suck, eventually people
You
find
suck.
out.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
eventually
also
you're
why a
like,
lot of these social media, like they got hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff, but like casting will tell you themselves, it's like if you suck, you're not going to be on that set.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true because at the
So
they
explain like some of these rappers being in certain projects that they have no business being in. How do you explain that?
okay. Let me like can I throw my okay. If a rapper is involved in a project, right? What is the goal? The goal is to get eyes on the show.
Hmm.
Yep,
Okay.
for sure.
So does that stunt casting of a rapper going in there that has a following, does it achieve that goal? The answer is yes. But the question becomes, can that person parlay that into a career? Can you
Mm,
can you generate enough momentum in the craft of acting to continue on to grow as an artist? That's a different thing. So you could come in and do a project here and there, but eventually time will tell whether or not you're good enough to continue growing in that craft. Because it is a stunt
yeah.
casting at that point. So I mean the industry is riddled with that, or the history of filmmaking in any art form is riddled with that. And not even just this. I mean, I know a lot of photographers that come in with they've got great creative sort of influence and they do this, but they are biting other people's style. And eventually
Mm,
creative directors go, but you're not giving me anything that's different. Else can you do? And as an artist, you have to be able to generate something that is individual and specific to you. So I don't know. To me, my theory has always been that's great, but it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Can you survive the marathon?
This guy's so
for
good.
sure. I asked that because
So
I don't know if
philosophical,
you
man.
guys know
Like, dang.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
the OG giving out the game. Yeah, I asked that because there's a rapper named Travis Scott who got casted in the new Odyssey movie that's coming
Yep.
up, and
Hmm.
people were going crazy and they're like, "Why the fuck is Travis Scott in
Wait,
the
Travis
Christopher
Scott got
Nolan
cast
movie?"
in the
Yeah.
Odyssey?
Oh yeah, they just
Yeah,
released a
yeah,
screenshot
bro.
or like a frame from it. I was like, "Who's
What?
Travis
People are
Scott?"
raging like, "Why is he in a Christopher Nolan movie?" Da, 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 da.
Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan? What?
Yeah,
yeah, he's
and
in
I'm
it.
like, there has to be something behind that maybe we just don't know from the outside looking in. Maybe he was good, maybe he wasn't. I guess
Mm.
time will tell, like you said.
Only time will tell, man. Only time will
Yeah,
tell. Only time will tell. But it's so easy to hate on somebody like that, because it's
for
like
sure.
he's got the opportunity. How is it that he got the opportunity, not me? Like I could have played that part.
Mm.
That's
Not me
a
specifically, but
fact.
like the
Yeah,
royal me of anyone who might be wanting to gun for a role like that. That's human nature, man. To be like, damn, I want what he wants, or what he has, or what they have. Like I want that. This is human
absolutely.
nature, but you can't dwell on that too much.
Hmm.
So you guys are sports fans. He said, because I seen you was posting was that your son that was hitting the free throws?
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, so you locked in. You coach him or you just
No, no, I just sit quietly as other parents
Quietly.
go
spectate?
crazy.
I
Oh, I
heard
don't say
his
Yeah,
I
anything.
heard
quiet.
his games get crazy with
Oh,
parents.
they do. They do.
I saw
And
some
the
videos where
funniest,
there's like physical fights going on.
yo, my
Yeah,
son is 11. So, but even the parents at that age are like, yo, come on, get it. Blah. I'm like, I'm not trying to do all that. I'm not trying to be extra. I just want to enjoy, do your thing, have fun, man.
absolutely. James,
Yeah.
what about you and your kid? Oh, you don't you know, I forgot.
This guy. I don't know if you
That
know.
he knows of, that he knows of. There
Oh
might
yeah,
have
that he
some,
knows of. Yeah,
you
that's a
might have
No,
fact.
some
I no,
little
no, no, no,
Jameses
no.
floating
Dude,
around in the
Alain,
world
last time we
somewhere.
had this podcast, half the time we talked about my dating life, bro.
It was one of those
Wow.
segments. It was
It's
one of
getting
those
better. My
segments.
dating life is getting better.
Yeah, I
That's
mean you
great.
can
That's
only
great to hear,
improve,
James.
right?
Kids are far away.
Yeah.
if at all. We'll see.
Yeah. Is
Yeah, what
there
about you,
any
Nick?
other me? What
Yeah.
about me?
What about the kids? How's that going?
I'm not really thinking about that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You're a young man.
I think,
Don't think about it. You got time.
I think I view it differently than when I did when I was younger. Like when you're younger, you're like, yeah, of course I'm gonna have kids, blah blah blah.
Mm.
But then you like start seeing reality.
You're
Like
25 now, right?
about to be 26 next month. Yeah.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people who I went to school with that have 2, 3 kids already. I'm like, I don't know
Oh,
how y'all do it, dog. Like I can't. I'm too selfish.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I recognize that. So I would never even want to, you know, bring a kid in if I can. But who knows, if 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 time allows it, then but if not, I'm gonna just keep being a dog, free out in the world.
keep being a
No,
dog.
yeah, have fun.
You're gonna keep being a dog, and then you'll end up like me.
I don't think I'll end
37
up like you,
single.
James. Well, why is that bad though? Like, what's wrong with being? I feel like it's
The
only a red
older I
flag
get, the
if
more
you're like,
traditional I'm becoming, I think. So, I do want to slow things down and settle. I want to be like Elaine.
Elaine, you want to chime in on this? Maybe give James some
Hey,
advice.
listen, man. If I'm the elder statesman here, you guys just do what you got to do, man.
No, we don't want to hear that media trained answer.
Yeah.
Come on, give us the real.
What do you want to
This
know,
ain't.
man? What do you want to know? I'm
I
just
How
saying.
mean,
has how has fatherhood changed you? Is it that life changing where like when you pick up your kid for the first time and it's just like it's completely different now?
sparkles.
No, that's fucking bullshit. I'm gonna tell you straight up. That's some
What?
bullshit.
Really?
That's some fantasy shit. You know what? My brothers told me. 'Cause they all had kids before I did. They were like, listen, word of advice. It is not magic. When you have your child, that movie shit that happens, we're like, oh, this is my son. He's like, it doesn't happen to men. And I'm like, what do you mean? Explain this to me. And he's like, it takes time for you to build a bond. So give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up over it. It happens when they're around 2 or 3, when they start to reciprocate the energy. And you're like, oh, and it's gradual. And eventually you're like, oh shit, this is my seed. This is awesome. Now, it's not for everybody, but generally speaking, it happened to me. I was like, because it's usually the mom that's nursing and there's bond there. There's not much you can do really,
Mm,
Yeah.
except for just making sure that a your partner isn't yelling at you because they're tired and you're trying to survive as well. But at the same time, you're not you're not breastfeeding. You're not. There's nothing. You're just there as an
mhm.
assistant essentially. But at some point, they get older and you're like, damn, this is awesome, man.
Right.
Um,
Stuff. This
I
is the
I
first time I'm
think
hearing this. This is
I
wild.
You're
when
scaring.
when
You're
my
scaring James.
when my brothers told me that, I was like, really, man? Because that's the conception, right? That's the expectation, is that baby comes out and you're like, yes, this is my baby. But it doesn't happen to every person. And so I was prepared for that. I was like, okay, if it doesn't happen for me, it's okay because eventually it'll happen. But
Mm,
to your question about like how it's affected me as a person, being a parent, it didn't really dawn on me until you realize like, oh wow, I pissed off a lot of time in my life because now you know how precious time is. Because you're
mm,
like,
Mm.
this takes a lot of time.
You hear that,
And then
James?
when you do have free time, like when I have free time, like when my son's at school, and I'm like, okay, I got to get all this stuff done for me right now. So there you go. Take some notes. Take some notes.
so
But
so
yeah,
hold up.
man.
Let's stick on that topic for a second, right? Because you're in a different profession than the average parent. So what is that dynamic like when you have a kid and you got to like essentially just disappear for months on end? What's the conversation like with your partner? Do they understand? Is there a conversation that needs to be had? Do you have a convo with your kid? Does your kid understand what you do? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, James, tell us. How was it like?
You don't know.
I know, because when I was hanging out with Elaine, he was telling me what he was going through. I mean, you flew back a couple times, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
did.
yeah,
I
it's
did.
not
And they
enough.
flew
Oof.
and they flew they flew to Chicago too.
Oh,
It's
Okay.
um I'll try to keep this short and sweet. I don't want to monopolize the time, but like I have a, you know, we have a great understanding of everything. It's been discussed already. And the expectation is always this. You bring in the money, be good. So,
Oh, okay, okay, I
I mean,
get it.
that's a fact. Like I remember I was up for a part that would require me to be in New York for 10 months out of the year. And the question was, do we move to New York? If I
Wow.
get if I get this part, do we move to New York?
Mm.
And guess what the follow-up question is? How much are you getting paid? Because
Wow.
not because it's pocket watching and all that shit. It's because
Yeah.
how do we sustain this? And thankfully my man and we decided like, that's not good. Our son is just going into school. Stability is the most important thing. So if I have to fly back every week, I'll do it because that's what you do as a father is you sacrifice. Because
Wow.
they can't move. Like you can't, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to him. Or my partner. Like I don't want to do any of that to
Mhm.
to this structure, this unit. So thankfully my reps, as we talked about, they take care of me. They negotiated that I get a stipend every month. They give me a free flight to go back home, come back on the contract. Those are the
Wow.
options, right? So, I mean, those are things that you deal with, but yeah, like my son is used to it, you know. My partner's used to it. It's the reality that we live in. And so, I mean, I'm up for a project that shoots in Thailand for 6 months. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do there? That's on the other side of the world.
Ooh.
So, you know,
So are you willing to fly back from Thailand
that
every
I
month?
can't I can't do that. That's gonna be a
That would be
challenge.
Yeah,
very difficult.
But
that'd be
listen,
wild.
but what a great problem to have. What a great
Yeah.
problem to have. I see it that
For
way.
sure.
Like that's a great problem to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Absolutely. James, what have you learned from what
I
TED
Elaine
learned
just
Talk.
said
that
here?
I learned that wow. I
Because
learned
that's a
that
lot. That's
fathers
a lot.
don't fall in love and with their kid immediately.
Again, that was just my own
It
personal
gradually
experience. So
happens. No, 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 seriously, that's something that's like that kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was like, oh, I thought it was like because like everywhere you see
Yeah.
on like movies and like all this, your people just tell you how life changing it is. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna expect that. But now it's like, oh no, that's probably not the case. It's like, and no one
I
ever told me
mean,
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
it is the case. It is. I mean, it happens for sure. I am just saying, I'm trying to ground you two young men
Yeah.
that sometimes it isn't magic, man. It's just not. It's just the
Now, what he
reality of
said did,
things.
did make sense though, because when you think about it, the woman does spend majority of the time with the kid. So to
Mhm.
build that bond is like you have so much time to catch up on, even though you're there, you're not really
It's
there.
I see it's a
Yeah.
biological thing. They carried this thing for 9 months. They
Hmm.
heard this person's voice for 9 months and your voice sparingly. So it's like there's that bond. It's an immediate bond. And yes, it's a survival thing. They produce life. Like they literally produce food for this thing that needs to survive for the next year and a half until it can survive on its own. So
Wow. I think I'm gonna definitely take my time then with that. You you definitely
As you should.
cleared the paintboard for me.
and
No,
it
I'm saying me.
and
I don't know about you, James. I think you should be in a little bit more of a rush than
With what
than me.
money?
just all I have to say is just enjoy the process
Yeah, for
of
sure.
not making children without
Mm.
being too gratuitous and graphic what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Enjoy
Look,
it,
what do you what do you,
man.
what do you think about what James just said though? He said, "With what money?" Do you feel like that's the most important factor? Because a lot of people nowadays are like, "I don't want to have kids because of money." But then you hear some people say, "Oh, well, if you have kids, you'll just magically start making more money." And I'm like, I don't know if it works like that.
Oh man, that's like the proverbial question of like, does the chicken come before the egg? Like, I don't. You
Oof.
just have to. You just got to make it work. Like
Yeah,
Pick
you
up an
really just got to make it work.
extra job or two. You
Yeah,
know.
maybe
I
rob a few banks.
rob a few banks, get into the cartel, like be that guy, to tie it back to force, you know what I'm saying?
End up like
Yeah.
saying,
And end up like saying, I don't know. For me, it's like I'm a history major, and this has
Hmm.
been going on for centuries.
mm,
Giving, so you'll figure it out.
yeah,
You'll,
just
You'll
and
have
we've
figure it
we've
out.
the way that's what we're built for, is like we just figured this shit out.
all right.
Absolutely. James, Elaine, thank you guys for joining me today. I enjoyed this conversation. Is there anything else we didn't touch on that maybe you guys wanted to bring light to?
This was fun,
Just
man.
thanks fans for the love, you know,
Yeah,
watching the
yeah, yeah,
show.
yeah.
Nick as well, all that hard work that you're doing,
Yeah,
Thank you,
dude.
man.
been
Appreciate
Let's
it.
talk
constantly, bro.
about
That's
let's
crazy.
let's talk about you for a second.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Don't talk about
He's
me.
like, I'm gonna cut this out. What you
No,
mean?
no, 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 no. W- Do you understand how difficult it is to cultivate and create what you're doing?
Mhm.
We look, I've seen this. We've all seen people try to do this. So we gotta give you your flowers. The reason why I came back is because you're really good at what you do. There's something
Thank you, man.
about you that is insightful, is thoughtful. You give respect to the craft. You understand what this is,
You got that X
and
factor. People want
and
to
and
listen and
yeah,
watch.
I mean, so I'm rooting for you, man. Truly rooting for you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I've had a lot of fun. You two specifically, I've had a lot of fun talking to. I feel like I don't know, a lot of people in the industry that are in this business, they have a hard time having certain conversations. Maybe they're a little like, you know what I mean? They might not be open about talking about some of the conversations we had today. So I
Mhm.
appreciate you guys opening up with me here. Definitely hope to stay in touch with you guys uh, for a long time.
James is gonna be like, new phone, who this? That's what it is.
No,
He's gonna
more
get
like,
he's
yo,
gonna
Nick,
get
Elaine,
famous.
I'm about to have a kid.
I won't believe you. You got to show me evidence.
All
I
right,
need
all
proof. I
right.
need an anagram, something.
Uh,
Appreciate you guys, and we'll
Yeah,
catch
man.
you on the next one.